Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to my lecturer, Dr. Siti Nur Ashikin and my fellow classmate. Today our group 9, will be present and discuss about our scholar, which is Mary Parker Follet. Before that, my name is Nur Hadira binti Mahadi 253063. So let's start it. Mary Parker Follet was an American social worker, management consultant, writer, philosopher, and pioneer in the field of organizational theory and behavior. She was born on 3rd September 1868 at Queenie, Massachusetts, United States. Her parents' names is Charles Allen Follet and Elizabeth Follet. She attended Thayer Academy, a collegiate preparatory day school in Braintree, Massachusetts. From 1890 to 1891, she studied at the University of Cambridge and then moved study at Society for the Collegiate Instruction of Women in Cambridge and then later known as Radcliffe College. In 1898, Follet graduated summa cum laude from Radcliffe. So, Follet intensive thesis or research into government in 1896 while at Radcliffe was later published. Her first book, The Speaker of the House Representative, and again on 1909. Her career in 1900 to 1908, Follet devoted herself as voluntary social worker in the Roxbury Neighborhood House of Boston. In 1908, she became chairperson of the Women Municipal League Committee on Extended Use of School Building. In 1911, she and others opened the East Boston High School Social Center. She also helped found other social centers in Boston. Later, she served as a member of the Massachusetts Minimum Wage Board. In 1917, Follet took on the vice presidency of the National Community Center Association. In 1918, she published her second book, The New State. While in 1924, Follet published her third book, Creative Experience. In Boston, she shared house with Isabel L. Briggs for 30 years. In 1926, after Briggs' death, Follet moved to England to live, work, and study at Oxford. In 1928, Follet consulted with the League of Nations and with the International Labour Organization in Geneva. And so later years, Follet became a popular writer and lecturer in the business world. So she was a lecturer at the London School of Economics in 1933. She also provided personal advice to President Theodore Roosevelt on organizational management. On 18 December 1993, in age 65 years old, Follet died in Boston, Massachusetts. In 1942, her work and speech was published, and in 1995, Mary Parker Follet, The Purpose of Management, was published. Her published work, such as The Speaker of the House of Representatives, 1896, The New State, 1918, Creative Experience, 1924, Dynamic Administration, The Collected Papers of Mary Parker Follet, 1942. So the history of the concept, because of Follet's educational and work background, influenced her writing and her theories. So one of her earliest career position as social worker in the Roxbury neighborhood of Boston from 1900 to 1908. So she realized the importance of community space as areas to meet and socialize. Next, the definition of Follet management theory. So Follet believed that management was the art of getting things done through people. So she believed in a group synergy when different people with different skills together, the possibility become endless, which means the result becomes good. Concept of Follet management theory. First, organization as communities. Organization are cooperating communities of managers and workers. Organization does not exist for one person benefit, but rather the entire company of workers. Follet promote human teamwork and collaborative system, which means work together as a team. For example, a collaborative Japanese practice in industrial. So if any mistake happens, all the managers or workers will be responsible to it. In a group, allow individual to combine their talent for a greater good. Because of different background, diversity factor actually can help to contribute brilliant ideas for the company. Teamwork and collaboration were keys to improving results in the company. Next is human relation. Follet advocated for a human relation emphasis equal to a mechanical or operational emphasis in management. Her work contrasts with the scientific management of Frederick W. Taylor and by Leland Gilbert, which accentuation on time and motion studies. Communication also be mentioned as well because we socialize and interact with people. Follet stressed the importance of personal interaction between management and workers. She looked at management and leadership holistically and identified a leader as someone who sees the whole rather than the particular. Cooperation is related to integration, and integration brings out integrative unity. Follet insists on the preservation of each individual integrity and underline how important it is to foster the personal development of those involved in the organization. This development is considered by Follet as the chief function of the business to give an opportunity for individual development through the better organization of human relationship. Then conflict resolution. Follet was one of the first to integrate the idea of organizational conflict into management theory, referred as mother of conflict resolution. Follet believed that conflict could actually be an opportunity for people to develop innovative solutions. She promoted the idea of reciprocity or reciprocal relationship within organizational structure. According to Follet, there are three ways of resolving conflict: domination, conciliation, and integration. So in domination, exercise of power or influence over someone. Make sure people follow what he says. In conciliation, through compromise, everyone needs to discuss together to find the best solution. Every parties involved did not get what they want, but together agree the solution. And last is integration. Every parties come out together to find the best solution. This is the best solution that considered as win-win situation for both parties involved. Power and authority. Power and authority are two concepts in management, yet can cause great confusion. Follet views can help modern managers better understand the notion of power and authority and how they should apply in the business. Follet points out that ownership or just having certain position does not give the top manager authority. Real authority, which people obey, comes from function and experience. The challenge of good management is giving authority to those who have real responsibility for their function. Follet focused on the science of getting people to cooperate. She believed that genuine power is not power over, but power with. the terms of power over and power with to differentiate coercive power from participate decision making, showing power with can be greater than power over. Follet believed that workers should practice coactive power, which powering the teams is better than power over them. Follet said power is something that managers should jointly develop with their colleagues in the workplace.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and selamat sejahtera. My name is Nomaimuna binti Abdul Rahim and my matric number 255438. So now I want to explain about the application. For the first one is coordination of workers. Follet follow the principle of coordination that help establish her management theory. Coordination is the mechanism that ensures smooth interplay. This is between the forces and the function of the organization various component pieces. There are 4 types of principal coordination, which are direct contact, early stages, reciprocal relationship, and also continuous process. For the first one, direct contact is between the responsible individuals, bring coordination through interpersonal relationship, sharing of opinion, reaction, and communication. For example, manager have a great idea of the work given by the client. Then he should discuss about that with his subordinate to ask for views from them. Manager can make daily meeting or discuss the subject face to face. From the meeting, the manager can have various of ideas from their subordinates, solve problem with different solutions, and they also can exchange idea between them. It helps manager to efficiently and effectively manage all the various activities of their subordinate. And other than that, it also can smooth the function of the organization. For the early stages, coordination should begin since the beginning of the phase of planning and policy making. This will guarantee that the best plan will be produced. For example, there might be disagreement and opposition in the organization if the manager frame the policies without informing them. If the manager meet and negotiate the issue involved with his employee, then it will be easier to enforce the policy. The result will be no issue of disagreement or incongruence between both parties. Reciprocal relationship is all variables in a situation are mutually connected to each other. No individual should try less or even more than others. Other departments and individuals in the company will be influenced by the action and decision of one department or individual. For example, Anis works in sales department, Amira works in purchase department, and Alia works in financial department. When the purchasing department has bought a lot of equipment, but the sales department has getting less customer and the profit have decreased. As a result, it will affect the finance department. Continuous process a never-ending phase. It should be a one-time operation. For example, manager and colleague must always constantly identify and solve the problem that the organization facing. From that, manager and the subordinate can strengthen their skills in dealing with the problem. They can learn and transform into everything that they do. For the next point is the integration as group. Instead of confrontation, Follet focus on the need for collaboration. Integration leads to unity. Follet also said that integration will help the organization to achieve their goal more effectively and efficiently. When employees work as a group, they can have a creative, innovative, and their way of thinking is not limited. For example, managers hold a training to their employees. In the training, the employee will be divided into groups and complete the assigned tasks in group. They will learn how to work as a teammate in the organization. Other than that, it will help to strengthen their bond as a clique. So they will realize that work in group is more easier, save time, and effective. Next is leadership. Follet discussed the relationship between the leader and the follower in the essential of leadership. She thought that the leadership had to be able to see the strengths of each member of the team and be able to bring them out and then blend the talents of each member to form a cohesive group. For example, his group faces a financial problem. Every group, including the leader, should think of a way to get out of the problem. And maybe one of the employees gave the idea by borrowing money from the bank, but the leader rejected the idea because it will be a burden in the future. It will make them to a long time to achieve the objective. Sometimes a leader also can give advice to those in higher position. Next is contribution or benefits. First, the Follet presented a strikingly original concept of power and authority. The substitution of the existing theory of power over people with the new one to power with was Follet forward-looking ideas for organizational psychology. Follet figured out that when the practice of physical force reaches over a certain limit, energies are reduced and self-respect is lost. Thus, unless it was focused on the concern governed, the society could stand for long. Follet believed that an illusion founded on a false assumption of power was a final authority. Thus, she concluded that power and authority are the core issue of social relation. Follet acknowledged that the condition has occurred to the authority, not the individual or his position. Next, knowledge on human behavior. In order to help them excel in their work and become as effective as possible, Follet claimed that good management comes from knowing how to effectively manage and inspire workers. She claims that no one wants to get orders from manager. Humans have a natural desire to assert themselves because no one wants to be under another's will. It also will help the employer to increase their individual development. In understanding the commonality of interests, the position of the superior and subordinate have generated obstacles. That's why Follet suggested that directives be depersonalized and the compliance be transferred to the law of the situation. Last but not least is concerning stakeholder management. All business decisions will affect stakeholder who is an interdependent, groups or individual. Follet giving idea on how to deal with different interests of group. By using her perspective of integrative unity, Follet proposed working with the various interest groups. Integration is looking for a solution where all parties' interests have a position and neither party needs to sacrifice something. It is easier to resolve the conflict rather than to be conscious of stakeholder interests. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Sharifah Qurratu Aisyah binti Saizin, my metric number 253166. I'm going to explain about conflict resolution, criticism and the conclusion. Move to the next part, which is conflict resolution. According to Mary, there are three ways to solve the conflict, which is domination, conciliation and integration. For the first one is domination. As we know, domination means exercise of power or influence over someone in order to act the way they want. So when we use domination to solve the conflict, it will only make one side feel satisfaction. This is because the dominant side get what they want to do and leaving the other side without their requirement being met. For example, let's say the organization have the problem about the sale and the employees have the idea how to overcome by improving the product. But the manager did not agree and directly reject that suggestion because the manager have their own ways to increase the sale. And because the suggestion by the employees are already rejected, they cannot do anything and must follow their manager's ideas. In this situation, we can assume that the manager dominated the employees but did not consider the employees' idea, and the manager also used their legitimate power to influence their employees to act as what they said in order to overcome the problem. According to Mary, domination is the easiest way to solve the conflict, but unfortunately, this kind of conflict resolving is only suitable for short term and cannot use very often. This is because it will make employees feel less important and can lead to misunderstanding. The second way is conciliation. Conflict resolution through conciliation means everyone needs to discuss together to find the best solution to the conflicts. In this situation, every side involved needs to give up on their desire in order to settle the conflict and together develop their own solution. Here we can see that every side involved did not get what they want, but they together agree to the best solution to the conflicts. But in reality, this kind of conflict resolution very hard to follow because not everyone want to give up on their desire. The last way is integration. Compared to other resolution, when using this method, every side did not have to give up on their desire, but they come out together to find a solution. According to Mary, this is the best idea to solve the conflict because it can consider as win-win situation for the both sides. For example, if the manager's desire is to increase the profit for their business, meanwhile the employee desire is to develop new product with the new features, they can discuss together how to make it happen. Develop new product with the new features can attract more customers, so the possibility to increase the profit is also high. From this situation, both sides get what they want without sacrifice anything. So, this is the three ways of resolving conflict. Now we move to the criticism. The first one is Mary is criticized as an idealist. For your information, the idea suggested by her is too utopian and very hard to follow in real situation. This is because the process of resolution consumes a lot of time to discuss and engage understanding both parties involved. Not only that, she also suggests that integration is the best method to overcome the conflict compared to the domination and conciliation. According to her, the result of these two methods leave one or both sides unsatisfaction. Besides that, the possibility of that conflict happen again later is very high. So that's why she said integration is the best way to solve the conflict. But actually, many critics find that conflict resolving through integration is very challenging as it took a lot of time consuming and very complicated. Nowadays, many organizations prefer to use conciliation and domination method to solve the conflict. This is because it helps organizations to make faster decisions in order to solve the conflict, and the time to decide the solution also short compared to the integration method. The next criticism is Mary demonstrates her idea through drawing illustration. In order to explain her idea, Mary demonstrates her belief by drawing illustration. For example, she drawing about a fact in government, industry, business and other related things happen in life to explain the concept about her idea. Organization because it's not theoretically well founded. The idea suggested by her also only based on her understanding and observation. This is also one of the reasons why she known as idealist. So in conclusion, we can see that the management theory of Mary Parker Follet emphasizes about the importance of teamwork and collaboration in organization in order to improve the result. As she also defined that management is the art of getting things done through people, she believed that all people in organization, including managers, should unite and work together with the employee to increase the organization productivity and improve the service of quality. So that's all from our group, and thank you.